I just pick those up.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to the February 4th meeting of the Logan City Municipal Council. This evening we have an opening ceremony from Tamara Jenkins, who is the USU Black Student Union President. Tamara, if you'd come forward, and when you're finished with your remarks, if you will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's up, y'all? My name is Tamara Jenkins. I am currently a senior at Utah State University. I study political science with minors in leadership management and anticipatory intelligence, and 2 certificates in nonprofit social entrepreneurship. And tell me the other certificate. And, you know, don't worry about the other certificate.
Sounds good.
If there's something you want to know about me, I'm a learner and I grow from it. My goal in life is to change. And that could be change a community, change a state, even change the world. That's why I look into foreign service officer, government. You will see my name on the news for future governor or something.
For good.
Yeah. But I don't come here to talk about just myself. I come here to talk about my community, and specifically my community this month in Black History Month. I feel like today in this world, we are faced with a lot of uncertainty. We are faced with people who are in fear. And I'm not saying the world type fear, but I'm saying within Logan community type fear that is not seen and heard. And that's why, as a part of Black Student Union, we want to hold something for the community. That's why we're bringing back some history. We want to explain about it. On February 15th, this Saturday, from 5 to 8:30, we're going to be holding a soul food night based off of Black Wall Street Greenwood District. Y'all don't know what Black Wall Street is. It's not the Leonardo DiCaprio type version. It's the type where in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there were 600 plus entrepreneurship businesses meant for Black people when segregation was at its highest in the 1920s. When a Black person couldn't walk the street without the fear of something happening. But unfortunately, due to some events, Black Wall Street got burned down in 1928 by white supremacy. And as hard as that is to hear, I realize not a lot of people know what Black Wall Street is, or what it meant for my community, what it meant for the whole community, how it looks to the US. So I want to bring that within Utah and show the community that we still care, that we will have vendors there. And then unfortunately they cannot sell, but they can give out freebies, promote their businesses, even if it's a small hair shop that a woman does in her home. She could still promote it and bring it out to the community for people who do need burgers, for people who adopt children who need burgers. It starts from as little as that to bigger companies trying to see the community, see what is offered at USU. And let me tell you, it was hard to get USU to agree to allow companies to promote within their university. It took a lot of time. But just like my people, we adapt and we're resilient. And we work hard to make sure we can share what we have with everyone. And that's the point of Black Wall Street. And again, that's February 15th. It's 5 to 6:30 p.m. is the open market. And then 6:30 to 8:30 is the main event where we will have drummers, we will have dancers, we have food, y'all. We're serving jambalaya, so we're gonna make sure y'all are fed. And don't be leaving after the food too. And the overall goal of this event is to bring the community back. We'll also have other events with the Black Student Union where we'll do fundraisers because what is happening in our state has affected us significantly, specifically the HB 261 bill. And yet, we're still thriving, and yet we still rise. So if y'all can join us, spread the word. Even if you can't attend, I can still send the flyers out just to get more of the community involved. If you know a small business that needs help, invite them to join the market. We will give them a table. Let us know what you need and we will get it. Even if that includes tablecloths, so then your table, doesn't look there. But come and show up to show that you care. Because there are ways to show you care. It's just a matter of looking and finding out where that is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, if I can have y'all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tamara. Our next item of business this evening is the acceptance of the minutes of our past meeting and the approval of the agenda for tonight.
I would move acceptance of the minutes and approval of tonight's agenda.
And I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our 2025 regular meeting schedule is the first and third Tuesdays at 5:30. Our next meeting will be here on February the 18th. This is an open mic time for questions and comments for the mayor or for the council or for both. We ask that you address only things that are not otherwise on the agenda, and we would appreciate you taking 3 minutes or less. If you have anything to say, please come to the microphone, state your name, and we might be here. Hello.
Hi there. My name's Ethan Payne. I've lived in Logan for about 10 years. I'm really excited to hear about that Black Wall Street event. I think that's really important because what I'm here to talk about today is that we have an intolerance problem in Logan that's growing, and I'm really concerned about it. In the past 2 weeks, I've had 3 different friends of mine from the transgender community come and tell me that they are looking to move from Logan. Not because of federal policy changes, not because of state policy changes, but because of directed harassment they've received in this town. They've had slurs shouted at them. They've been run off the road for the crime of having a pride sticker on the back of their car. This stuff is not okay. I've also heard from a school counselor at Logan High School that Latino students are facing increased harassment there specifically. This is not okay. I'm not here to say that the people of Logan are bad people because I don't believe that. There are so many good people in Logan, that's why I chose to stay here. But the thing is that we have a really small group of bigoted people who feel empowered to act this way in our community right now, and we need to do something about it. And I'm not expecting that you're gonna solve racism or homophobia. That's completely unrealistic. But what I do expect is that you do something. You are elected officials and you're the stewards of our community. There are a lot of things that we can do. Whether that looks like a public statement that's issued from the mayor or from city council, that could look like inviting public speakers, including, we have some really amazing speakers in town like Darren Harry, who I'm sure would love to share some words on intolerance. I think he would have a lot to say. That could look like increased training. I know that CAPSA offers upstanding training both to workplaces and schools in the valley. They would be really excellent to be able to host that sort of thing more for the community. But if we're going to put millions of taxpayer dollars into beautiful improvements to our city, like Lot Plaza and the new and improved Center Street, we ought to be willing to spend a fraction of that cost to make sure that everyone in our community, everyone who helped pay for it, feels safe and comfortable to use it. Because right now they don't. And that's not okay.
Thank you very much, Ethan.
Hi, Matthew Pontuasi. I live here in Logan. I only managed to print off one copy, but here's a little intersectional thing. You're probably not interested, but let's see. So I don't like the fact that, again, you're still saying that we can't talk about things that are on the agenda. There's a 3 minutes more time, so things have to be intersectional. It would be important for us to be able to discuss those kinds of things, especially when it comes to like the bonds that are coming up too. But really when it comes to the discriminatory behavior, that's basically, you can find the root of it heavily inside of the isolationist tendency of capitalism and just profit seeking in general. We're going to have an instance where we're going to be seeking to give $60 million of bonds to, bonds are basically just an IOU to people where they can get a return on investment basically for something that's a critical infrastructure. So instead of raising taxes, we're giving people instead of charging them taxes for a civil responsibility, they live in the community, they should be contributing to the community. Instead, we're asking that they end up what's the word? We convert that over to a sense of charity, like we're converting a civic responsibility into a sense of charity that only the people with wealth can actually manifest and create for themselves. But that's just like a tiny portion of it that we'll end up seeing, and there's just a lot of ignorance that tends to go on with the lack of curiosity that keeps going on with you guys. I called out about the ICE ramp up and everything like that. Only 2 of you ended up getting back to me, and the last person I called was the first person that got back to me. And then, so I'm glad to hear that there's actually 2 of the 5 members of the city council that are actually concerned about this, or at least I know of now explicitly that are concerned about this, or keeping an eye on it in some manner. But it's still just a tangential issue of the further problems that we're seeing throughout the issue. So I have the thing there that I printed off. I managed to whip it up in the 2 hours before I got here since I just woke up. And that's literally off the top of my dome, the different things that are connected in all these situations. And they trickle down to how we end up interacting with our neighbors, interacting with other areas in the city, and how we deal with investors. And that's all prioritizing them as opposed to prioritizing people, not profit. Anyways, I'm just rambling and everything. I'll come back and talk about the bonds and everything at a later time, since I couldn't talk about it last time, since it's only a public hearing now where it's going to be more inclined for you to carry the momentum and just pass it through instead of actually critically thinking, maybe we should be doing this as a tax form instead of listening to the Utah legislature's suggestion of doing bonds instead, even after they end up moving the right for collective organizing to be used as a negotiating tool for workers in the workplace. Like you don't have to recognize unions anymore as a negotiating tool. Anyway, yeah, business owners shouldn't be paying their employees $10 an hour, just saying.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.
I'm going to set my own little timer so that I'll try to be respectful.
He doesn't trust the city attorney.
Craig has a timer.
I know that, but I don't trust it. No, I wanted to come back.
You have to tell us who you are for the record.
Oh, I'm Tom Jensen. I'm an old city council member.
Former.
Okay. And I want to tell you, I've missed you, but I want you to know that I have a lot of respect for what's happening. We have a great city. And I told the chief, I feel safe here. I feel safe. And the mayor, you're doing a great job. The council, I mean, we have a great city. And so I just want to tell you, thank you for what you're doing. Thanks for being friends. And I have a deep, warm spot in my heart for each of you as friends. So I have a couple things that I wanted to just say as a nudge. You already know this. My wife says, why are you going there? They already know this stuff. But this is a nudge, okay? We already know about 200 East and how it has to stop at 3rd South, and then you get up to that congested light. I would urge you to do some efforts to try to push that through, because our city the traffic is growing, and it takes a long time for for the funds to get allocated, for the engineering to be done, and for the land to be acquired and all that stuff. Maybe you're already doing it, so I'm just telling you that I think that my observation is that it's an important thing with regard to our traffic, because we're trying to keep Main Street from getting over. The second one is also on 2nd East, which I take a lot, and that's on 7th North. It's a crossing that is almost impossible for traffic to get across there. You have the little flags and you have the lights and so forth. That's good for pedestrians. But somebody going east on 6th and trying to cross to go down to Angie's or something like that, I've sat there for a long, long time. Because if they're not coming from one side, then they're coming from the other. And maybe there's a light, the engineering department understands this. You have a light that's activated when one or something comes. and then it only is open for 30 seconds. You know, it doesn't have to impede traffic a long time. I think that would be helpful, because there's people that live along that street, they can't find a place to get out of their driveway. Less Second East for what it's done, but it's also caused a problem. The third thing is something you already know, and the mayor. I'm at 2:58, so can I have an extension for 30 seconds?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. You all know this, the Roger Brooks study. You've done a lot of it very, very, very well. And I think about Center Street and what Mark and, you know, everybody has done. It's beautiful. There's a couple things that we're weak on. I don't know if you have public restrooms downtown,
In the plaza,
in the plaza,
yeah.
and they're open for,
They're open from like park hours, so I think 9
Okay.
a.m. to 10 p.m.
all right, just a thing. You got curb appeal, thank you for that. I think there needs to be some extension along the backside, maybe somehow branding it to get up to the library. You know, there's offices and, there's shops. If it was kind of made a walkway. It's hard to walk on Main Street because it's noisy. And
You're talking about the mid-block?
yeah,
The mid-block walkway? Okay.
yeah, something like that. I would move it over, but you know, that's the way it is.
And we now have the pedestrian crossing at 200 North and, mid-block going to the library. And then next summer, we're doing a marked pedestrian crosswalk with bulb outs on 100 North to again enhance that. No lights there, it's not that busy, but, so we are working on that, thank you.
You all know this. I know you have it up on your wall. I went to a full day of teaching by Roger and have a good respect for him. We're making wonderful progress, and this is not a complaint. It's just, let's keep going. And we have wonderful housing. I mean, what's been done on First South and L59, whatever it is over there. We fought for those, and I think they're healthy. Sorry to take over too much time. Thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you, Tom.
I may leave. I'm only on a 30-minute.
Oh, you're only let out for 30 minutes?
Maybe I'll go into the part where the pitchforks.
We're going to have to get after Rana for that.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Hi, I'm Gail Hansen, and I've lived here a long time too. But I've never served in office, and I just wanted to say how my whole thing today is that you guys are the ones in the trenches. If you want to sing along, do. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. That ensure domestic tranquility part, that is your job. And everything but the borders is included in that. We secure domestic tranquility by establishing justice, by promoting general welfare, which I define as widespread health and prosperity, by securing the blessings of liberty. The blessings of liberty and having a council that is responsive to the expressed desire of the citizens is still an amazing, brilliant new idea. I'm going to go to the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. I'm going to be here as many meetings as I can to celebrate your commitment, your courage, your humility, and to celebrate your commitment and courage and humility. And I forgot to be 10 seconds.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council right now? Okay, we'll bring it back and move on to mayor and staff reports.
All right, tonight I have one board reappointment. This is to the Airport Authority Board, and that is Brett Hughey, who has served for one term, and given his usage of the airport, I think he's a great person to be representing the city on that board. So I'd ask the council to re-ratify him for another term.
I'll move for ratification. Brett.
I'll second that.
Thank you. I wanted to move it. Brett's an incredible asset to the Airport Authority Board.
Great asset.
Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Thank you. And the second item, I just wanted to make people aware that UDOT will be holding a public meeting on the Logan Main Street study. Again, this has been one of many studies. It's been a long time coming. They have some suggestions for potential things to improve traffic flow on Main Street. They invite public participation. Again, not a city meeting, but a UDOT meeting. It will be at Mount Logan Middle School on Tuesday, February 25th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. On the agenda, there's a link to the website if you would like to, and also on our webpage. If you want more information on that, there's also a way to comment that way if you can't do that in person. So that's just an informational item.
That's from 4th North this time, right? This is a different section.
No, this is all of Main Street
Okay,
from...
what I read was it was from 4th North to like Smithfield, so.
There is another study, I mean, we did one from Brigham City to essentially the Y. Now they're doing one from kind of North Logan going north, but this is the Main Street study.
So if you click on the link that's on the agenda, it shows that it's from the Y to 2500 North is the area of study.
I saw the other one.
There have been multiple studies going on, so it's easy to...
But this is the one that we've participated in that we don't have any formal document with respect to yet. So they're going to seek public input this way and
Right, so this is a great
about the process.
opportunity to make your comments known either in person or online. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move now. Planning Commission update. The last Planning Commission meeting, they approved a short-term rental at 25 South 200 West in the Ellis neighborhood. They continued to the February 27th meeting something called D-Works, but it's DWORQ. And it's an office building at 1099 West, 400 North, 44,178 square feet, 3 stories. It will be a call center and requires quite a bit of parking, and there is some wetland issues adjacent and incorporated in their location. So they're having to work through that before they come back to Planning Commission. The Bark Spot, Logan Boarding and Grooming will be opening at 390 North, 1000 West, and that was approved. That is also in the Ellis neighborhood. And last but not least, Darcy Eccles and Company Incorporated got a conditional use permit at 255 North, 950 West in the commercial zone. Anyway, Darcy makes some of the finest guns in the world. I know him personally, so I just will say that. And our other item on council business are board and committee reports, and I'm going to let Mark go first.
Let's go first.
You bet.
We had historic preservation was actually yesterday, and they had one presenter from Cache Valley Bank. We were talking about, it was 80 North Main, which is where the cater shop used to be. And
They continued that.
They continued that from last time,
Yeah.
yeah. So last time they had 2 properties right there, but this time this was a continuation. And their new plan was approved. And it looked great, so it's better than what it looks like currently with the sign that had been falling off of the cater shop. So
Oh, my.
it's
Okay.
currently safer than it was before, but it doesn't look very pretty, so. This will look a lot nicer, so. That's good. Golf board for the golf course met also. We got all the year-end financials, and they looked pretty good. That was great. Nice job. You contributed a lot. So I would suggest we might see some small fee increases come to us on a few services that they left off last time. That was on the agenda to discuss, and it's mostly some of the year-long passes that they've got that they didn't adjust last time, so just a heads up on that. We also met with kind of an informal meeting with Light and Power and RESAB, and I thought it was a great meeting. The mayor was there and Mike was there. Some great topics that we talked about, some good solutions that might be really viable for our city, so we'll see if some of those work. I would say the word that I came away from that meeting was diversify. We need to diversify some of our power, so I thought that was great. And then tomorrow there is the Woodson neighborhood meeting at 5:30 at Woodson School for another kickoff for the neighborhood meeting plan. So we'll see how that goes. That's it.
Okay, I'm trying to look back and see what all I did. I went to Planning Commission twice in the past month. I also attended the mayor's dinner. Mayor was out of town. She will often ask one of us to go. Our police and 911 team did a presentation on a much-needed small increase in 911 fees to cover the growth in calls and the need for the 911 process during that mayor dinner. We had a meeting with the consultants regarding the general plan, and there was more than just me there. I went to ISO's retirement. ISO was our director of our environmental department, served us well, and was both a friend and a gentleman, and I will miss him. I also attended the Ellis neighborhood meeting that was last Tuesday. That was very well attended, including staff. There were more than 92 people there. So it was a good meeting, run very well. I told Sue Sorensen, who is the neighborhood chair, that she needs to train everybody how to run meetings like that. We also, last Thursday, we had audit committee meeting, which we do quarterly. And I was not able to attend the Woodruff neighborhood meeting, but I'm sure someone will talk about that at some point. And that's what I did in the past month. So I know that sometimes you wonder what we do in between meetings, so we just feel like we can let you know that we do not sit idle in between. So this evening we have 3 public hearings, and the first public hearing will be discussed by Tyler Richard. It's an impact fee facilities plan for the city of Logan. And Tyler, would you come and just give us an overview of that? I know we talked about it last time.
Good evening, Council. So yes, this is a continuation from last time. So in 2019, we passed the original impact fee for the wastewater treatment plant. And that study was done. The consultant found that there was like $38.7 million of money we spent towards building that treatment plant that was eligible for impact fees. And they divided that out for each ERU, or equivalent residential user, at $24.33 was the cost. There was some ambiguity between the multiple cities that we serve on how that cost went out to multifamily units. Was it per door, or was it a discounted rate? And so we updated this 2024 study based upon the wastewater and water use study that Paul Screw did, and came up with a reduced rate of 70% for multifamily housing. So the multifamily housing units, whether it's a condominium, duplex, apartment, will now be charged $17.03 per door for the wastewater impact fee. And so before, there were some cities and some developers trying to use the non-standard commercial fee based on total flow rate, meter size. And so everybody was kind of applying the same impact fee different, so this will standardize it. So every multifamily, whether you're Smithfield to Nibley, Logan, it's $17.03 for multifamily units.
So Tyler, does this fee have to be approved by each of the cities that participate in our sewage treatment plant?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So once we adopt and pass this, it'll be up to them to pass and adopt this in our ordinance. They had previously passed the ordinance adopting the 2433 for each URU, and so they'll have to do the same reduction, just like we're doing.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
I was going to ask, when was the last time a municipality declined to take a decrease? Rich, can you answer that?
Well,
Never.
he's never done it.
Just curious.
Any other questions? Thank you, Tyler. This is a public hearing. If there's anyone who cares to speak to this issue, please come to the microphone and state your name, and take 3 minutes or less.
Hi, I'm Gail Hansen, and that thing about how once you pass a tax, it never goes away. This is awesome. That's all I have to say.
It's a fee, but
Hard work of our employees that figured this one out. Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Matthew Fontossi. I'm curious exactly how this is, seems like it's a shifting from actually doing a per use basis increased fee for like, using the sewage treatment, especially in commercial regards, to just generalizing it for, on a per residential basis. So it's, at home use being increased as opposed to the major benefiter here being companies and everything like that. I'm curious exactly what's going on there.
Tyler, tell me if I'm speaking incorrectly. This is only related to residential use and multifamily, correct?
So this reduction is only for multifamily. There is a commercial impact fee that is much greater than this. So like the industry standard, and the way they look at this is we're here to treat wastewater for the residents and for the citizens, the homes. And so whatever chunk a commercial entity takes from that treatment capacity, we turn it into a number of homes or equivalent residential units. So the large business uses as much water as 100 homes. We want to treat that as 100 homes and charge them that fee. So the commercial fee is a formula that's based basically on your water usage divided by the average flow per home, and it gives you that fee. Then the multifamily one is a reduction because the multifamily units have shown they use less water.
And this is a one-time fee when the building is completed.
This is the
Yeah.
impact fee. And then
This is the
the monthly
impact.
fee you pay on your sewage rate stays the same. That's what we do with this.
Then I'll also say that this is still probably going to end up not affecting renters in any way whatsoever, since they're not going to end up having any reduction inside of their rental fees based on the development for renters.
It may affect the cost initially when the building is
I'm
constructed.
just saying, this is not the tendency for renters or property owners to actually lower the cost of rent. They instead just decide to continue increasing it to stay competitive. Anyway, thank you for your time.
Is there anyone else? I will close the public hearing and bring it back to council for a decision.
So just to clarify, this is just when it's new is when the impact fees for the audience.
We don't have to do
Generally,
anything.
yeah.
No action.
Yeah, next, when we discuss, or when we consider the amendment to the actual ordinance, then we'll pass that.
Okay. Any more questions? Amy?
That
Okay,
was just a clarification for the,
okay.
so that it's not.
Sorry, I missed
Yeah, it's not
missed
that,
that.
it's not that people are going to start to see this fee on a monthly basis on their
Yeah.
own bills.
No,
This is for new construction, essentially that impact fee when they hook up a new sewer line on a multifamily. I have no further questions or comments.
Anything else?
Thanks, Tyler.
You're quiet tonight. Our second public hearing this evening is a public hearing with respect to the issuance of not to exceed $60 million of water and sewer revenue bonds and the potential economic impact that the improvements to be financed with the proceeds of said bonds will have on the private sector. I'm going to turn the time over to Rich before we open the public hearing.
This is another public hearing where no action is required of the council. Council can give direction if that's what they desire after the hearing, but no action is required. On January 7th, the council passed in accordance with state law what is referred to as a parameters resolution, which establishes the parameters under which the city is authorized to issue bonds. What we established is no more than 60 million, no greater than 6%, and no greater length than 31 years. That's the parameter. And in the future, the city will come forward and request of council to have a budget to expend those bonds toward a specific project. Today, we're not adopting a project, we're not selecting a route, we're not selecting an option. We're simply fulfilling the required process in order to authorize the city at some future date to issue bonds for the project. And like I said, we anticipate that the city will bring forward a budget resolution at some future date that will discuss options and will specify how much we're issuing in bonds and some of those types of things. This is simply following state code, following the parameters resolution to hold a public hearing and hear public comment on the issuance of the bonds. One other comment, the reason we're doing this now is because part of the parameters resolution is something that's referred to as a reimbursement resolution. Without the reimbursement resolution, the city would not be able to reimburse itself for costs that have already been incurred up to this point. Instead, we can only reimburse ourselves for costs after the issuance of the bonds. So that is why the timing of it is now. That's why the parameters are fairly broad, in order that at a future date, when we bring forth the project, we'll be able to issue bonds sufficient to cover whatever project it is that is selected.
Thank you, Rich. Anybody else have any questions? This is a public hearing. If anyone wishes to speak to this, please come forward and state your name and take 3 minutes or less.
Matthew Bottomley, how much of that current that we aren't able to reimburse at the moment is from previous bonds that were issued?
One more time.
How much of this current reimbursement that we're not able to meet without being able to issue these $60 million worth of bonds is because of previous bonds that we issued that we're having to pay back now?
Zero.
None of it? Okay. And then, as far as
If I understand the question correctly, zero.
how do you understand it?
That would be my
understanding too.
yeah.
We haven't put out any bonds for this project.
And we're not using this
We haven't put any
bond to pay
bonds
back
out.
any other bonds.
Yeah,
So then why are we starting with bonds now? Is my issue. Anyway,
Just explain it.
I'm just saying this was, as far as I understand too, from the state level, this is just to consider it. It's actually worded in a way that it's only a consideration, not actually requiring that we issue these bonds. Correct. Thank you. So again, I would issue the bonds are a continuation problem. That's the reason why the New Deal Act in the first place on the federal level ended up squallering so much once they hit office. Bonds are not good, especially when they're prohibitive in accessibility to just the wealthy instead, or the people that have to put it into our RV. Anyways, thank you for your time.
thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak to this? Seeing no one, I'll bring it back to council. We will move on to our third public hearing.
Can I make a clarification
You bet.
with Rich? So we're not using any of this bond money to pay back other bonds, but the reason we're doing it now is to pay back other money the city has spent, but none of that money came from other bonds.
Correct.
Correct, okay.
Really what this is about is we spent $775,000 purchasing land in the middle of December in order to reimburse ourselves for that land purchase.
Which
We had
is
to do
part of the
Which is part of the
overall
project,
lot.
yeah.
In fact, we have 2 bond issues outstanding in the water fund. One we just paid off last year. One will be paid off in 2 more years. I think we have $936,000 that's outstanding on that bond issue. That should be paid off in the next 2 to 3 years. When that is, this will be the only bond outstanding.
On the water
Assuming
fund.
we issue it at some point.
So they are
in the water fund.
Like they are bonds then? Like you're just saying that they're bonds that we had issued.
Other bonds.
We have other bonds, but we're not using this bond to pay off other bonds. We're using it to pay off a land purchase at this point.
Correct.
Okay.
Our third public hearing this evening, I will turn over to Rich.
Again.
Fairly straightforward. We sold a brush truck for $24,500. We're requesting to use those funds to help equip a different brush truck. We're actually consolidating our fleet. But the request is you appropriate these funds that were received, because we have no other way to spend monies that we receive other than the council appropriated, toward the replacement of a fire brush truck that we will equip.
So we're going to equip a different truck as a brush truck.
That's what we're doing.
But then we have one less truck,
Okay.
One less truck.
less rolling stock to maintain.
But one better one.
Yeah.
2 junky trucks, 1 good one.
Awesome.
I didn't know the fire department had any junky trucks.
Do you have any further questions of Rich? This is a public hearing. If anybody would care to speak on this issue, please come forward and state your name. And take less than 3 minutes or less.
Matthew Populesi. I'm fine with, keeping the funds with the fire department if that tracks in the first place, but as you see with the LA fires and everything, we have issues with, fires as a tendency, and this isn't something that's exclusive to California, so they continue cropping up more and more as environmental issues come in. So as we do this, it would be worth considering not just consolidating these funds into better quality trucks, but actually expanding the quality of our fire response. And try to make sure that it's not actually a for-profit industry like it used to be back in the day before we considered fire handling services, given right of living inside of the city. If you didn't know, they used to be for-profit and people would just sit off to the side and let buildings burn because it wasn't protected or insured. So keep an eye out for that kind of profit-seeking motivation creeping in. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to this? Seeing no one, I'm going to bring back to the council for action. This one's actually an action. Yes.
I'll move approval of Resolution 25-03.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move now to our workshop items. And Rich, you're up again.
Another relatively straightforward, easy one. We do these periodically. The first is request appropriate $88,071 in alcohol funds that have been received from the state toward police alcohol enforcement. Again, the state distributes alcohol funds they receive through the purchase of, I believe it's liquor, through their stores. And a portion of that is distributed to local law enforcement to do enforcement shifts. Again, we receive this each year. This is approximately the same amount we've received in past years. So no real change. The next one is request appropriate $37,244 for police overtime shift reimbursements. As council is aware, we periodically have requests from various entities to have our law enforcement participate in some way. They reimburse us for that service that is performed. And unfortunately, we have to come to council after the fact because we don't know what these are in advance to request that we appropriate these toward the reimbursement of overtime in the police department. We have these also for fire when we send our firefighters out to help other jurisdictions as well as a few other activities that we support.
Any other questions? Any questions? Sorry.
I have a question. So do you know what the percentage is of sales that we're getting out of this? And is this from our liquor store in Cache County?
I don't know the exact formula. I think there's a population component.
It's a whole algorithm, but yeah, we typically get about $85,000 a year. It's also based on our enforcement and how well we enforce it. We've been pretty proficient at that.
So is this for like when you do like roadblocks, not the right word, but when you do
A DUI
that
roadblock.
DUI, okay.
Those are rare, but mostly it's our DUI shifts on weekends and holidays where
Okay.
people are like getting green.
Okay, thanks.
A lot of that money, a lot of the taxes go to school.
Yeah, no, I'm just curious what the percentage is, because I just like those numbers.
Okay, we will go on to our last two workshop items, and they're both presented to us by Mike.
Yep, and I have pictures.
Ooh.
Sort of.
I'd like studied these for a minute. The lines are very subtle.
I know.
Yeah.
Like green and red.
I know.
Like,
Okay, we got resolution 25-4. This is intent to adjust our boundary with, between Logan and Millville. It is down here, just to orient you, highway going south, Park Avenue, 17th South. This is the Zollinger Warehouse Complex, Global Properties. So there's an area, the green line are our current municipal boundary between Logan and Millville. There's a vacated railroad right-of-way spur through there. See the yellow lines for parcel lines. And so what they're proposing to do is to adjust the boundary to follow property lines. So it's pretty simple. It falls about an acre of land total. Pretty straightforward. So
Straight line to
So-
straight line.
that's the plat looks like.
So,
Go back one. please.
go back one.
You got a bigger job to do.
So, the part of that is in Millville?
Yeah, this right here is all in Millville. Everything on the south side of this green line is Millville.
Oh,
Obviously Logan is up on this side, so this is our common boundary.
not Nibley, Millville. I know, it's a weird one. Wow.
It's a weird one.
Yeah,
What's that?
that's a weird one.
yes, it is.
Yeah, they'll go all the way up to there.
Yeah, so that's the
But
existing.
only like in one spot, right?
Little
Because,
strip between
like,
Nibley and.
yeah, I don't know. Anyway, okay, and the other picture again? So,
So the green line is the current city boundary. This one, the proposed is the red.
why do we want to change it like that?
It follows
doesn't-
existing property lines.
Property lines.
It's not cutting through
Yeah.
parcel.
Okay,
And then it also, where you have a boundary line intersecting with a building, makes it a little more challenging to deal with setbacks and fire codes and things like that. So it just makes it simple for everybody.
so almost some of that building isn't in is like in Millville. You know, it's like,
Well, this will clean that up. So,
It's definitely kind
okay.
of odd.
Is that the map, Mike?
Yeah, of the Millville city boundaries.
Oh, that's weird.
They just like take that little piece.
Yeah. Just the way it's, and then way it evolved, and then Nibley wraps around it on one side and Providence on the other. Okay. I learned something new about boundaries today. I've always thought that was Nibley.
Yeah,
That stretch all along there. Okay. No questions about
The
that?
little Highway 8991 frontage
Yeah.
for Millville.
Well, almost frontage.
Makes sense to
Well, and all
align
that pieces in the front,
With the
that's
parcels.
with
pieces,
the parcels.
parcels on the
Especially if they
highway.
ever do something different with it.
Sort of.
There.
No, but the city line goes right here. So like they don't really get frontage. They're close to getting frontage. They can throw a rock onto the frontage.
Well, maybe,
Not at the highway though.
okay,
All right.
please go ahead.
Shifting gears to the next one. This is resolution 25-06, and this is an intent to adjust our common boundary with Nibley. This is down on the southern part of the highway, further south than you looked at. This is the new 3200 south connection with the highway that's lit, so 3,000 south approximately. There are 3 parcels in here that are in Logan. Current owner of these 2 properties on the north, you can see them better here, and this owner want to go into Nibley because of access services. So the proposal is to run the line, it's the green is the existing line, proposal is a red line. It runs out to the center line of the highway. So this has been an ongoing issue with us in Nibley. We've resolved ourselves to do it piece by piece as opposed to holistically. So.
Yeah, I caused that problem.
You?
I did.
Any questions?
I caused that problem.
I don't make sense.
Pretty easy. Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are there any other considerations this evening?
I have a couple.
Okay.
Don't roll your
I was
eyes.
just gonna say, we're way ahead of schedule for the first time in months.
So a couple of quick things. This February at 10:30.
This February?
This Saturday,
Okay.
February 8th at 10:30, the Nora Eccles Harrison Museum of Art is hosting the Utah High School Clean Air Act marketing contest. At Stafford, has come for years, so encourage the public to go to that to see. This is a statewide campaign that encourages young adults to make posters and to advocate for clean air. So at 10:30 up at the University Museum.
And they've been doing, it's the 25th year. 20th? 20th year.
10th?
I thought it was 10.
10th.
I could
I
be
thought it
wrong.
was the 10th. But anyway, it's been going on for a long time, and it's great.
10th anniversary.
They brought some
Sure.
cool art
Okay.
last year. Last year they brought some really cool.
They do a statewide, there are high schools that participate statewide.
Yeah.
And I've judged many times for Ed, and it's phenomenal, the
10th
art.
year celebration.
10th. This year they have 5 celebrity judges.
Oh,
But
there you
I
go.
didn't recognize any of their names, so I don't know. Anyway.
Not sure how celebrity they
Maybe
are.
they're celebrities in air quality.
There you go. And I just wanted to encourage people, we are in the middle of our legislative session. And I'm a huge advocate of us being aware of what's going on at our state level. If you go to le.utah.gov, you can look at a bill tracker, you can search topics that are of interest to you. There's a couple bills that I'm following. One is Code Blue, which is similar to the Code Red, which is similar to Code Blue. So it's for when it's hot in the summer to make sure that people have adequate shelter. That's one I'm just personally tracking. There's one right now based on health for our high schools and schools related to how children can access mental health support. So if you have young children at home and you're curious as to what that bill looks like, I'd encourage you to look at that. And then tied to that tonight, I know this is like notice, at Green Canyon High School at 7 o'clock, the Policy Project is holding an event. They are advocating their focused student project, which looks at cell phone use in schools, along with food insecurity and the need to help ensure that there are free lunch programs, not just during the school year, but during the summer for families. And I know just in some of the community work I've been doing, like with Loaves and Fishes, we're seeing a huge increase in the number of people that are accessing that because of food insecurity. So if you're interested in learning more about what the Policy Project's doing, that's tonight at 7 up at Green Canyon. And then finally, thank you to those in our community who participated in the point in time count last week on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thanks to Mayor Daines for going out. I know someone here in the audience who participated, 2 people in the audience here who were there. It's really important that we identify those individuals that are unhoused in our community because it does help bring funds to our community.
Most volunteers ever is what I saw.
175 volunteers came out for the pit
That
count
is
between all of Bear River. So that was, Box Elder as well as Cache County. But yeah, it was a great
And
showing.
Rich County?
And we're sharing information about resources, for instance, the warming center. And I was told that there were already a couple of individuals that showed up at the warming center as a result of that information. I know I was with the group that handed out several blankets, some kind of food, packages with some food, snacks, and hygiene kits. So they also try and provide things if people are interested.
Basic services.
So those are my brief items.
That's okay. They're important. Anybody else?
Yes, I'd like to just share that there is a growing concern in the Latino community given the increased immigration presence in different parts of the country. And along with that, unfortunately, intimidation events that are starting to grow as well in several communities, even civilians stopping other civilians, not letting them move or run their car. And so it is concerning. And I think we're just at the beginning of it. And so just to show your support for people that may be experiencing unfair treatment, I think that's what I'd like to share with you.
Do you, as,
Breaks my heart.
please let us know if there's something that we as a council can do,
Or as individuals.
or as individuals, but, you know, especially if we have the opportunity or there is a possibility for us to make an impact citywide through council action of any kind.
For sure. As of right now, I think it's just being aware that these things are going to continue to increase in number and reports. I haven't heard of a specific event of such nature here. However, there was a Logan School District meeting that happened with concerned parents about this specific situation. And the superintendent did share that 8 years ago, similar things were happening in our school.
I remember.
And so it is happening everywhere. And things like other kids telling their fellow students, go back to your country, go back to Mexico, or just chanting, build the wall in the school. It is unfortunately something that it will continue to happen, and maybe even more so than before. So, I mean, just I think over the weekend there was a white supremacist group in Herman City here in Utah that did a show or a manifestation of some sort.
That makes me sad.
Breaks my heart.
Really sad.
Well, and I know there's been reports, you know, in connection with the healthcare system of individuals not showing up for necessary medical appointments because they're concerned. I think some misinterpretation, but just that, you know, if I go to a hospital or I go to the doctor, that there could be trouble. So it's having an impact on the health and well-being of people as well, that fear. So whether it happens or not, people are making decisions based on the fear that it could, and that's not good for the health of our community.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Ernesto.
Thank you for listening.
Absolutely. Is there anything else?
I know it was mentioned earlier, but for the public, there's a Wilson neighborhood meeting tomorrow night, 5:30 at Wilson Elementary. That's the only one I had.
Anything else?
Before you bang the gavel, I don't know if this is, I'm still the new guy, can I pull that card one last time? We had 3 people sneak in and we're like an hour ahead of schedule. Did you guys have something? Are we allowed to? No? Okay.
You're just hanging out with us.
I know it's so exciting, so I figured if you're sneaking in late, you're probably sneaking in for the excitement, so.
We're with the university. We're part of the Government Relations Council. We're just here to take in what you guys are discussing and bring it back to the university.
Awesome.
We're way ahead of agenda, I apologize. Yeah, thanks for coming.
You apologize to be way ahead of
I'm
you.
usually the one that gets called.
Mike's fault.
I don't know. I'm happy when Teresa messes up this way instead of the other way.
Never heard that.